Hey y'all. So today I want to talk to you guys about um bariatric surgery. Hey y'all. So today I want to talk to you guys about bariatric surgery. So I started this journey probably like September of 2024. It's now March of 2025. Um and I think I want to say it was like September. It may not have been. I think it was around there though. And I talked to my doctor about um, referring me for the gastric sleeve. Um, Knowing that, I would have to go through the classes and everything before I could, you know, be referred for surgery and make my decision, between there. Um, Now, I came to that decision because I felt like, okay, I'm 32 now and, I'm 300 something pounds. I've been trying, on and off to lose weight, work out. And, I always fall off. Of course, for anybody, regardless of your size or, you know, health, health, health history or whatever, you're gonna have to, be disciplined. Like, period. Whoever you are, you just gonna have to be disciplined and get it done. It doesn't matter if you got a little bit of weight to lose or a lot of bit of weight to lose. A lot of it. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of weight to lose or a little weight to lose. You have to be disciplined and you have to exercise and you have to eat healthy. Period. Um, and the thing about it is, whenever I do like put my mind to it and I do it, I can lose weight fairly easily and quickly. Like, and yeah, consistency is just an issue for me. And so, I mean, it doesn't matter how easily or how quickly you can lose it if you can't keep it off. Like, it's never going to matter. You're always going to gain back what you lost and some, right? So I decided, you know what, if I can't really, you know, get there, maybe, this will help. This will be a good boost, because having a smaller stomach, and then, in the beginning, having the like stomach sensitivities, and being forced to, have to only eat, certain things will give me that boost to, go ahead and be a little more consistent because, and I, don't get me wrong, I know that there's a lot of people who have the surgery and it doesn't help them. So I know there's a lot of people who the surgery won't work for because they don't learn to change their eating habits. And this is when I learned that this would be the boost that I might need, is within the last year and a half. I did start changing my eating habits, which is why I did lose a lot of weight. I lost about 50 pounds. I put back on some of that, unfortunately, and I cut out a lot of things. Like, it started, I'm gonna be honest, it started as a religious thing because I was going through a tough time and I said, you know what, I need God to do some things for me and I'm gonna fast. And so I felt like, this is just me. I'm not telling nobody what to do or what's good to do. This was my thinking, and this is what I ended up doing. I felt like the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the blessing. So I was like, okay, you know what? I know that, like, we love meat, so I'm gonna just give up meat. I'm gonna give up meat, and I'm gonna do that for this month. And I did, and actually, it wasn't as hard as you would think it would be. If you're a meat eater, it wasn't that hard. I just found ways to put together meals that didn't include meat. And my go-to, just plain and simple, I was just like, okay, so let me add, beans with everything. Let me add eggs with everything so that I can get that protein. I know now, I know that there's more, other ways to get protein, and nuts. I know that there's other ways, but those were the main few things that I knew, that I've always known, that you can get protein from. It's eggs, beans, nuts. So I was like, okay, let's add eggs and beans and nuts with as many meals as possible. So, we were doing a lot of veggie tacos. We were doing a lot of, just random, like, throwing just hosh posh, just really throwing stuff together, eggs and potatoes and eggs and beans and noodles and stir fries and stuff, which me and my kids love vegetables anyway. We eat a lot of vegetables, we drink a lot of water, so we have that going for us. Never really did drink a whole lot of soda. We did do juices and stuff, but in the last few years that's not really been my thing. But I did, like, okay, I talk a lot. Let me slow down. So first month, I was like, okay, no meat. So I did that. And when I said no meat, my daughter was like, you know what? If you're not eating it, I'm not going to eat it. And she likes to cook. So she was just like, okay, well then I'm going to cook, this, that, and the third. And we was just, both of us just kind of throwing random stuff together. And it worked out. And then in turn, it wasn't even about losing weight. It was about, what I needed done. And thank God, like, blessings just when I tell you things just started happening for me, it was insane. Call it what you want. So then the next month, and then the weight started falling off too. Weight just started falling off. So then the next month I was like, you know what? No meat, no bread, no sodas, no juice. So I started doing that. Cut out the bread, cut out the meat, cut out the sodas, cut out the juice. Weight was falling off. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Like, just like that. And it was like I lost 20 pounds in like a month and a half, maybe. I don't know. It was so fast. I really think it was really like a month. And then as I started to kind of add things back on, then it would slow down. So it was like after that, then I was like, okay, I'll do fish. I won't do, no red meat or whatever this month or whatever. I was only doing fish the next month. So then I did that, but the weight was still coming off. And I was the thing too is that I was feeling so much better. Like, and it was effortless. Like, once you start doing that kind of stuff and you feel better and you get into the habit of doing it, you don't even want it. You really don't. Like, it's crazy. And that's what's going to make this, what I'm going to say, even more wild. But yeah, so I felt I had more energy, I just felt better. I could think more clearly because I've had, like, that's gonna have to be a whole nother thing that I talk about, is like the fibromyalgia, the fibro fog thing, because oh my God, when I say, like, fibro fog is no joke. Like the brain fog thing, like the way your thoughts get so cloudy and your confusion, like you get confused and your focus like just diminishes. It's insane. Like, I used to be so focused, so smart, so just unstoppable. And fibromyalgia really, really, really made a big difference. It really took a toll on me as a young person. And I'll have to make a whole other video about that and talk about that. It's pretty wild. And, I used to think that people on those commercials are like, they be extra or, they be dramatic. But when they sit there and they say like, oh, before fibromyalgia, I was active, I was this and blah, blah, blah. And now I'm just so tired. Like, that is real. Like, it is not a joke. It is insane. Like, the level of like fatigue it just makes no sense. But anyway, so my point being, eating better, I had much more energy. I could think more clearly. And then too, on top of the weight loss, what some of us don't realize is the inflammation in our bodies from processed foods. A lot of times it be in the meats, but in processed foods in general, I guess, there's a lot of stuff in it that causes inflammation in the body. And I started realizing this when I was losing weight, and then I started to add things back in, and it was like, even though the scale wasn't going up, my stomach was getting bigger, my double chin was getting bigger, my face was getting bigger, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, nah, something's wrong with my scale. There's no way something's wrong with this scale. And because it wasn't going up, and sometimes it was even still going down, and I was like, I'm adding these things back into my diet, and I'm seeing more weight, but it's not showing on the scale. And at this time, I wasn't exercising. Like, I'm kind of active because I'm a hairstylist, so I'm on my feet all day, and I'm doing but I'm not. It's not like I'm running around and I'm doing a whole ton of walking all day. I'm not even gonna sit there and lie and act like, oh well, since I'm on my feet all day, I'm burning a lot of calories. Like, that's that's not how that works. Let's not even play ourselves like that. But my point being, it was inflammation, and I'm gonna tell you why or how I figured that out. So I kept trying to make sense of it. I'm sorry, my throat. I need to clear it, but it's not happening. And so one day, I don't know if it was TikTok or what. This lady was making a video, and she was little. Like, I mean, she was slim, tiny, and she was talking about how the stuff that's in the meat, the things that they put in it causes inflammation in the body, and how you could see the difference in her within like a matter of days. And so she showed us like her body. She had on like, a little tank top and like some leggings or like biker shorts or something, and she was showing her body, and she looked bloated. Like, you, as a skinny person with a belly like that, you would have thought she was like kind of, like pregnant, like maybe 4 months, possibly 5, I don't know. So she said, that she had meat that day, and so she came back 3 days later, same outfit, did a little spin and stuff. You could start to see her stomach was flatter now. Her what was it? Since she was small, she, it wasn't like a big difference in her face, but her arms were like, like a little more like defined, and then coming back 2 days later on like 1, 2, 3, the 5th or 6th day or whatever it was, she came back and her stomach was flat. You could start to see like her abs again. You could start to see like more definition in her arms, where like, she normally would have like, a little cut, and it was crazy. And she was saying like, this is now that I've been off meat for, this many days or whatever. And I was just like, wow, that was when it made sense to me. Like, I know we've always heard this stuff and we've always known, but it was like when she showed that, and some people were like, oh, you believe that? Yeah, I do believe it, because it was happening to me. And as big as I am, you talking about 300 something pounds, you wouldn't think that you could see that difference, but you can. I could, and other people could. Yeah. So when I tell you like my stomach was bigger, like actually and factually bigger, it was kind of a lot, actually. Without me actually gaining weight. It was just inflammation, which seems like even the inflammation should have weighed something, but I guess it just didn't for whatever reason. So I don't know, take it how you want. That's what I got out of it, and that's what I believe. So going back to, cutting that stuff out, stomach starts shrinking again, whatever. But okay, this is the crazy part that I was gonna say. So me being me, and learning to eat more healthy and feel better and all that stuff, I'm like, okay, I've been doing good, whatever. I haven't had this, I haven't had that, let me add it back in. I'm gonna have this and that. And so I was like, okay, what I would do too is in between my fast, I would do like, I'm sorry, my daughter was walking up and I didn't want her to open the door because I'm trying to do my video. In between my fast, I would give myself like a week or a few days where I would go ahead and have the things that I wasn't having, so that I wouldn't feel like, oh my God, I can never have it, and like, start trying to cheat or something. And then I would do that. I'd be satisfied, because even then I wouldn't really want it. I'd be like, ugh, like, especially like steak beef or something. It was, oh my God, it tasted like blood. It tasted like death. After not having it for a couple months, it was like, and that's the crazy part, because if that's the case, you don't even want it, but then you just go ahead and have it, and then it don't even taste good and it don't feel good to your body. Why would you keep eating it? Why would you do it? Which is insane. But I kept doing it, and then it got harder and harder to not do it. And then before you knew it, I was right back to eating all that stuff, which not that it's bad, but I do think that if it wasn't processed the way it is, if it was like more natural meat, just, I don't know, from the cow or from the whatever animal, and they weren't adding in, meat glue and whatever else they, the things that they add into it, then it would, it wouldn't be so harmful, to the body. But anyway, so, I fell off. And then I started picking up that weight again. And then I was like, dang, okay. So then it got harder and harder to do right. Then I was like, okay, you know what? Got to get a hold of it. That's when I went and talked to my doctor about it. And now it's March. I just finished my last bariatric surgery class, weight loss class last week. And I'm gonna talk to you about that in a bit.